We are in a state of relaxation as we meditate in this nice forest behind me. And we don't need to worry about the woman back there. We're just going to cover her up because I'm taking her place to do meditation, to be your meditation instructor for today, to show you, to guide you on the journey of meditation. Because meditation is very, very important. It's more important than you may think that it is. A lot of people don't really pay much attention to meditation, or they don't really give it as much thought as they possibly should. But for people such as myself, or anyone else who deals with any sort of stress, anxiety, or any sort of other problem, it's very, very important. Sometimes it can be extremely difficult though, especially when you're under a lot of stress. Your thoughts are going all over the place. You're dealing with a lot of stuff. It can be near impossible. So first we're going to talk about just why it is so important than you may think that it actually is, especially when it comes to regular meditation, doing meditation on a more regular basis, and what it can really help you with, and why you should start doing it if you notice a lot of things that perhaps you need to get under control within your life. So regular meditation is one of the most important things you can do, because it really does help regulate all sorts of things within your body, not just mental, but also physical as well. Now, it may not necessarily get rid of all of the problems that you have, but it could help you deal and manage them a lot more efficiently. So much like the person back here, she's just sitting in one place, sitting still. Sure, that can work. That is beneficial, but that's really not something that everyone can do very effectively. It's really not. Sometimes there may need to be some sort of movement incorporated into the meditation practice. So we can talk about that in another segment where we talk about movement during meditation and why that can be beneficial. But when it comes to meditation in general, sitting in one place is usually what we think about when we go into our mind. Sitting in one place, closing our eyes, relaxing, and then we have all of the flood of thoughts coming to us. Just keeps coming and coming and coming, and we just cannot stop it sometimes. This is where I always use the analogy of a train, because your thoughts going through your mind when you're doing a meditation is like a train. It's just full speed, a whole bunch of thoughts just going and going and going. And you try to catch up to it. You try to chase that train down, catching up with your thoughts, thinking all these things, going a whole bunch of different ways, and just your mind is not really focused on being in the present moment, but instead focused on all these thoughts that you have within your mind. And that's a problem, because you cannot chase a train. You can't. You can try. You can try to run after it, but you're just going to get exhausted after a while. It's not going to help you. That's why it's very important to step back for a moment and just watch your thoughts go by. Watch them as if you're an outsider watching your mind and your thoughts. Just letting them go by, letting them pass. Because meditation is about calming the mind and being in the present moment. That's what's called mindfulness. When you're mindful, that means that you are in the here and now. What is happening right this very moment? When you close your eyes and do a meditation, some of the stuff you may be going through your mind is, oh, I have to do this tomorrow. I have that to do. I got this, it's like, oh, and then maybe some anxiety or stress about something that is going on within your life, or something that is going to be happening very soon. And then you start thinking about stuff that you did in the past problems, past issues, past regret. Gosh, I wish I said this to someone. I wish I didn't do that activity. I wish I never went to that place. I wish I never did those things. So again, you're really not in the present moment. Instead, you're focused on these things that are in the past or in the future. But what's happening right here in the present moment is something that is not any of those things. It's calmness and relaxation. and peace. That's what's happening in the present moment right now. You may hear sounds during meditation and you just learn to let those go. You hear them and you let them go. You don't fixate your attention on them. You just let them be and let them go. So what are some of the main benefits of doing a meditation? Well, it can really help your mental and physical health in many, many, many ways. So how can that be? How can it really help both your mental and physical health? Well, it's because when you lessen the stress within your mind, the things that are stressing you out the most, that relaxes your body more so that you're not all tight and tense and you don't develop any sort of negative ill health consequences of all of the stress that you're under. Because when you're under a high level of stress, what happens is that your body begins to break down easier. It's easier for you to have some sort of physical problems start to develop, which is why it's very important to get your mental health in check as well, so that you don't develop a lot of those physical health symptoms. But it also helps with your mental health as well. So if you have any sort of mental health disorder or problem, it can really help you understand why things have happened to you the way that they have, and for you to get into better terms with the things that are troubling you. So for me, I've certainly dealt with a very rough past upbringing, all the problems that I had and everything. And it was through meditation that I was able to get to a point where I'm able to look back at those events and not feel as though it's dragging me down. It doesn't feel as though I can think about it and just be instilled with a bunch of negativity and fear. Instead, I can be thankful for the negative events that happened that shaped me into a better person. Meditation can also help regulate your emotions better. Our emotions can be all over the place. We can feel intense anger, sadness, even happiness, to the point of we're a bit delusional as to what we're expecting something to happen, or we're anticipating something much greater than what would actually happen, which leads to disappointment. So it can really help bring you down if you're up too high, and it can raise you up if you're feeling too low. And it allows you to be able to regulate your emotions a lot better. So if someone does something or says something really mean and hateful to you, instead of you quickly reacting and wanting to, get into some sort of argument with them, or even some sort of physical altercation with that person, it will allow you to take a step back from the ego and relax your mind and see things much more clearly. Because that is what really meditation does. It really detaches you from the ego. The more that you do it, the easier it is for you to detach from the ego part of yourself. And the ego is basically the front that we put on to the world. It is something that is part of us that we cannot escape from. It can protect us, absolutely, but it also does a lot of harm when it comes to regulating emotions or fixating on something, thinking about future, thinking about the past. That is what the ego does. It's so fixated on those things to the point where it is very self-destructive and it makes you feel really, really bad. So you being able to manage your emotions through mindfulness and meditation allows you then to be able to regulate that ego a little bit better. You can't get rid of it entirely. You will be fixated at times on certain things, on certain people, on certain events going on within your mind and your life, but it allows you to take a step back and realize maybe it's not as important as you're actually thinking. And that last major benefit of meditation, it really does connect you with your true self and what you want out of life. Because if you feel very lost and disconnected, it's often because you're not in alignment with who you truly are. Who you truly are deep down is someone that is far beyond than the labels that you give yourself. So if you give yourself all these labels as to who you think that you are, but you don't feel fulfilled in life, it's because you're not really doing what your true calling is in life. And doing meditation really allows you to connect with the deeper part of you past all of the surface level stuff. And then you're able to truly connect with who you truly are at the deepest part. You're able to understand things more intuitively. You're able to understand yourself and the world and why things are the way that they are. And you won't be as upset or fearful or afraid if something happens in your life. But of course, we're all human beings. We're going to get afraid from time to time. Things are going to happen that are going to be very, very bad, and it could set us back. It could set us back for a bit. But we have to remain strong during the tough times and continue with the meditation no matter how difficult it is. And realize that there's always a positive way towards our future. And that comes with relaxing the mind and body and just connecting with who you truly are. So those are a lot of the benefits of meditation. Now, of course, as I mentioned, you can do it like this woman, or you can do a moving meditation. So I will discuss that in our next segment about doing a movement meditation and why that can be very beneficial for you.